Hello, you are listening to Talking Bollocks. Please welcome your host, Howard H. Smith. And it is, in fact, me! Hello! Welcome back. Welcome, everyone. Just a little bit of a different intro because I'm so fucking bored of doing the same thing every month, but what the hell, let's jump straight into it. I am your host, Howard H. Smith, singer of rebooted UK thrash band Acid Rain. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, yada, yada, yada. Fucking search for it. This is the Talking Bollocks podcast. Find that. You found it. Well done. Hello. And I also do stand-up comedy. You can find me on Twitter at Keith Platt and keithplatt.co.uk. Yes, that's what I do. Here is where I am, and this is what I be doing now, bruv. So, hello. Welcome back. If this is if you're a bollocker and you're up to date with all the podcasts, hello, welcome. If you're a first time, I always do this bit as well, don't I? And if you're a first time listener, hello, welcome. Strap yourself in. You've probably not heard a podcast like this before. You cunt. There you go, you see? Haha. Welcome new listeners by calling them cunts. First in, yes. Within a minute and a half, insulting the audience. Brilliant. That's a top bit of strategy from me there. So, hello, yes, I do sound like I've got a cold, because I have. I am sat here sweating like a bastard, as I have been for the last 2 days. Don't know fucking why, but just got this fucking lurgy. Can't get rid of it. But it could not stop me from having a chat with David from Revocation and Fernanda from Nervosa. So that's all coming up later. But before all of that, a load of fucking jibber jabber from me. So there's a lot to. Sorry, a little bit of a sniff there. I'll try and I'll try not to do that as much as possible. But I really am in a fucking state, I got to tell you. Anyway, and I really am right at this minute, fucking absolutely sweating my balls off. But anyway, so there you go. If anybody listening is pretty much used to this kind of rubbish straight up the top, and as I always say, if this is your first podcast, if this is the first time you've I nearly said it, didn't I? But I'll say it. If this is the first time you've tuned in, then yeah, you might be thinking, oh, this is a bit different. No, it's this kind of rubbish every fucking month. So what's been happening in the world of metal this month? Well, I want to pick up on something that has just happened. I'm recording this on the 15th of June. It happened this week. Or this weekend rather, and that is that at the Kerrang Awards, remember that that magazine used to cover metal and stuff. Well, apparently it still does, but just not anything good, as is really quite fucking patently obvious from their awards ceremony, where Kerrang gave best live band to Baby Metal. Let me just say that again. They gave best live band to Baby Metal. This is an award that has been won more than once by Rammstein, by Slipknot, epic metal bands that will go down in history as doing something very special. Not a pedo's dream put together by a huge entertainment corporation in Japan to create a money-making machine disguised as a metal band. Kerrang, as far as I'm concerned, has... I remember when it was a different magazine. It's very easy to say that, oh, it's shit now, it used to be great. Well, look, things change. Everything changes. Everything moves on. Not necessarily for the better. Also, not necessarily... Look, everyone's tastes changed. If the magazine hadn't changed whatsoever, I may still not like it because my tastes have changed. So I'm not going to have a go at, oh, it's not any good anymore or anything like that. But what I am going to say is that not only does that award really smack of being paid for, right? But really, you're going to give Baby Metal best live? Not that it would ever happen. But if Acid Rain were to be nominated or to win that award, I would feel that it had been tainted for life. That is just a fucking joke. Baby Metal, best live band. I mean, I have watched some live footage of Baby Metal. Far from the best live band I've ever seen. I mean, basically a bunch of old men, well, not old men, but a bunch of men who should know better, but playing in a metal band, a backing band. 3 girls dressed the same, prancing around like schoolgirls, doing matching dances, shrieking along to their thoroughly average metal. That is the best that metal has to offer in the live arena right now. That right there, that's the best metal can offer. Do me a fucking favour, for fuck's sake. Have we really sunk that fucking low? Have we? Fuck off. It is. I'm sorry, but that for me has completely ruined any sense of validation that a Kerrang Award, which let's face it, they are sought after in the industry. They must be. The amount of money Baby Metal must have paid to fucking get it. That is a fucking disgrace. An absolute disgrace. Because it's not a metal band. It is there to take money out of kids' wallets. It is there, right? It is purely there to take away the pocket money and the babysitting money and the gardening money and the paper round money from kids. If that's what kids do these days to earn money. I am so fucking out of touch. I don't have kids, so I don't know what kids do now to earn money. I don't know, administer their parents' social media accounts. Fuck knows. But whatever it is they do, that's what Baby Metal are after. They're after that money right there. Right fucking there. It's just a manufactured, shitty fucking band. The word band doesn't even belong in the same sentence as that fucking collection of shysters. It's a fucking disgrace. And the parents of each of those 3 girls, they should be put in jail for letting their children prance around the world like that. They should be getting an education so they can do something with their lives when that sack of shit project hits the buffers, hits the rocks as soon as possible, please. And I heard on the Metal Sucks podcast, Rob from Metal Injection, everyone's entitled to their opinion. His, I found the most laughable, worst opinion that I had heard yet, which was that basically Baby Metal was fine because it gets kids into metal. Okay, well, 1, metal has never needed specific fucking manufactured bands to get kids into it. 2, you get into metal by listening to metal. Not one specific band. There's all sorts of fucking gateway bands out there. Some kids come in straight at the deep end with insane fucking black metal. Some kids work their way through to metal. They start listening to pop and then they hear a harder edge pop and it gets a bit heavy and they end up at metal. How you find metal is fine. To somehow defend the shower of shit that Baby Metal is, because it's a positive influence, because it gets kids into metal. You know, apparently I think it might have even been Rob Zombie said, I mean, fucking hell, there's a shower of shit of a human being. Shit films, shit music, shit off, mate. But anyway, it's like Clown from Slipknot. Christ, put the camera down, mate. You're just annoying. You have no talent. You hit things. Fuck off. But seriously, right, tangent there. Love it. Seriously, it's just, oh, well, you know, they help my kids. Oh, they help my kids get into metal. Oh, they help kids get into metal. Oh, my kids wouldn't listen to metal, but they listen to Baby Metal. Okay, right. Here's the thing, right? Your kids, yeah, are shit, and you are a shit parent. If you need Baby Metal to get your kids into metal, okay? They've got shit tastes. You gave them shit tastes. Deal with it. Not every kid has to be into metal. I'm not saying that. Not at all. But funnily enough, I tweeted about this and somebody tweeted me back and said, yeah, I got my kids into metal via the Cardiacts. Let's face it, yeah, your kids suck if they need Baby Metal to get into metal. In fact, don't bring those kids to metal. We don't want them. We don't need them. Okay? They're only going to stick around for a little while. They're going to fuck off to the next trend after that. So fuck off. Honestly, Baby Metal does my fucking head in. And funnily enough, Rob, again, like I said, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but again, he was saying, like, people take it so seriously. For some reason, I wanted to do some sort of incredibly camp accent. People take metal so seriously. Something like that. I'm not going to do that ever again. But people take metal so seriously, and I don't understand it. I don't get it. Really? You don't think you should have integrity? You don't think things should have integrity? You don't think you should just be able to fucking put a label on it and sell it? You don't think that it's an art form? You think it's just another fucking product to consume? Because I think it's an art form. I think every form of music is an art form. And I think when that entire concept is fucking thrown down the shitter by a manufactured band that has been put together purely to fucking make money, I think it's a fucking disgrace. I think it lowers the standards of what we do, of what we love, which is metal. So fuck off. Fuck Baby Metal, fuck their managers, fuck their parents, and fuck you if you like Baby Metal. You're fucking wrong. Deal with it. Just fucking deal with it. You are wrong, okay? Delete the downloads, snap the CDs, burn the vinyl, and wake the fuck up. So, not a big fan of Baby Metal. Okay, I think I've made that fucking clear. I'll tell you what else I'm not a fucking fan of. This was a few weeks ago. I was I felt like I was rubbernecking at a car accident. I saw Jacoby Shaddix join Disturbed on stage to do a cover of, wait for it, Killing in the Name of by Rage Against the Machine. That's right, because there's nothing so punk as Papa Roach, frontman, and Disturbed doing a cover of Killing in the Name of. It was fucking horrendous. There's Drayman prancing about in his fucking overlong coat, looking like some sort of I don't know, what does he look like? It kind of looks like the little fat bald one from the Addams Family. I can't remember what his name was, but he just looked like some sort of anemic, bald, tubby vampire just wandering around the stage. Jacoby Shaddix is just like, fucking totally overexcited, like some sort of fucking teenage boy who's just found his fucking hard-on for the first time, and it was just fucking horrible. Look, I'm a Rage Against the Machine fan. They without a doubt, I'm out there. And if you don't like Rage Against the Machine, that's fine. This isn't about Rage Against the Machine. This is about a set of dicks ruining another band's song. It's just so wrong. If Jacoby wants to get on the stage with Disturbed and do some covers, fine, do it, not a problem. But Rage Against the Machine, really, for fuck's sake. I presume it's because those two singers got such small IQs that the only lyrics they could remember were Killing in the Name of. But for fuck's sake, and whilst we're on it, whilst I'm on it, Dave Mustaine, before Download, saying, we've got a little bit of a surprise for the crowd tonight. Okay. Now, to be fair, he didn't say good surprise, so, fuck me for assuming that it was going to be good. The surprise was them doing their piss weak cover of Anarchy in the UK and getting Nikki Sixx to come out on stage with them and do it. For fuck's sake! Hey? Inappropriate is the word for Jacoby Shaddix and Disturbed. Shit is the word for Megadeth and Nikki Sixx. It's always been a ballless fucking cover version. Okay? It's always been ballless. But you throw Nikki Sixx in there, it's just turned into some real kind of shit show. A new level shit show. What the... Oh, we've got a special surprise for the Download crowd, who you obviously fucking hate, Dave. Jesus Christ. I wouldn't do that to my worst enemy. Oh, here's Megadeth and Nikki Sixx playing Anarchy in the UK, just for you. Why are you doing that, Howard? I thought we were friends. Yeah, sorry, turns out I fucking hate you. Honestly, that is just fucking horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. So, I realise that's a little bit of a theme. It almost comes across as organised for once, which is obviously not really my thing. But seriously, those two things, made my fucking skin crawl. I tell you what didn't make my skin crawl. Manowar announcing their farewell tour. Yes! Get in! Finally! The loincloth wearing macho motherfuckers are gonna do what they should have done decades ago, and call it a fucking day. Let each note that I now play strike like an hour of death into the heart of anyone who likes Manowar. What a fucking shit. Manowar, born to live forevermore. No, born to fucking do a farewell tour and fuck off. Please. Seriously. I mean, one of the most embarrassing bands to ever come out of metal. And speaking of embarrassing, actually, I was going to mention something that I'd already put on Facebook, but I'll talk about that in a bit. So on the Megadeth thing, I do seem to do this. I do seem to kind of like mention a band and then mention them quite a few sort of months, weeks in a row, and I don't know why, but for the one that's doing it at the moment is Megadeth, and I for some reason I've always liked Dave Ellefson, and he seems all right, even for a Christian. He doesn't fucking ram it down people's throats, which is makes a fucking change. And you found God, have you? Good for you. Shut the fuck up about it. But he helped you get off drugs, did he? Swap one drug for another, did we? Did we? But Ellefson just keeps, last month it was why the piano has always been a friend to Megadeth, which just struck me as a fucking funny thing to say. And okay, I know people just answer questions in interviews, so they're not necessarily, they don't come out with this shit, but Dave Ellefson on why I don't have any tattoos. Really? Is there going to be a follow-up piece? Dave Ellefson, why I don't like shellfish. Dave Ellefson, why I don't have any horses. Dave Ellefson, why I don't have wings. I mean, it's just fucking just out of nowhere. Why I don't have any tattoos. Oh, thank God I couldn't get to sleep last night for worrying about why Dave Ellefson hasn't got any tattoos. Really, Dave? Fucking hell. It does seem like Ellefson is taken over as the ego in that band. I mean, until you read the lyrics on Dystopia and you realise that Mustaine's fucking head is as far up his ass as it ever has been, and his politics fucking suck! But, what can I say? Donald Trump a thrash. That's our Dave. Look, this is around the point where I like to just kind of wind into an interview, and that's exactly what I'm going to do now. So, basically, I had a really cool chat with Dave from Revocation. I had a good chat with Dave from Revocation, which I've caught up here. Now, one thing I've got to say is that how sometimes it's not great quality. There were a few technical issues during the interview. So it is a little bit of a shame. But hang in there. I've edited it. God, you try saying, yeah, all right, fucking yeah, laugh it up. I can't speak properly, okay? But you try saying edited it. Edited it. See, if you try and say edited it, that's just too quick. But it's edited it. So I edited it to fucking... I did, okay? I moved it around to try and make it as seamless as possible, but sometimes it's quite clear that it just jumps from bit to bit. So sorry about that. The good news is that I've downloaded a patch which has fixed the software, so the interview with Nervosa is nice and smooth and all recorded in one piece. The problem with that one is that the Skype connection wasn't brilliant. But so okay, what I'm saying here is it's two fucking shoddy interviews. All right, okay, there, I've said it. I've been honest with you up top, right? In fact, don't listen to the rest of the podcast. Just fucking delete it. Look, I did my best, guys. But both these interviews, for a change, are actually quite short. I think they both come in about 25 minutes each. But both these guys are on heavy media schedule at the moment, and sometimes that is it's just a slot. I don't get preferential treatment just for being a loudmouth dickhead who used to be, or rather is, in a thrash band. I don't get any special treatment. Get lined up like everybody else. So interview Bukkake, as I've mentioned before. But Nervosa were on tour. Finding the time to do the interview on the road was really, really cool. And Dave was been doing press all day and is still a wonderful interview, a great guy to talk to. I'd love to interview him again. Hopefully I will when they come over, and we'll have a little bit longer chat. But he's a really, really cool guy, and we have a really nice chat. And one thing that does take place is, for those of you who... there's a point in the interview where I mentioned my chat with Chewy from Voivod. And you might think it sounds a bit similar to what I was saying to David from Vector last week, but no, it is true that that Chewy is a big fan of both of them, and we talked about both of them in the interview. Well, actually, do you know what? You should know that, because you should have listened to that interview. So if you haven't got through all those podcasts, go back to listen to the Chewy one, and you'll hear those two Daves get mentioned. If you've already listened to them, then you know I'm not bullshit. In fact, I don't know why I feel the need to justify this. It's kind of weird. In fact, even during when I was doing the interview, I was thinking, I must mention this before the interview, which I have, which is strange. Right, okay. Quite clearly, I need to take a pill and lie down for a bit. The cold is taking hold, folks. This is a chat that I had a couple of days ago, literally a couple of days ago. Seriously, it was a couple of days ago. Not that you give a shit. But this is my interview with David Davidson of Revocation. The podcast is called Talking Bollocks. And I used to, and I'm back fronting UK thrash band Acid Rain. We were around back in the day, and we've just rebooted after like 25 years. But in the intervening years, I've spent the last sort of 17, 18 years being a stand-up comedian. So don't worry, I'll try to make this as unlike a normal interview as possible.
Sweet.
Presumably, are you on the treadmill at the moment? Are you doing tons and tons of press?
Yeah. I've just been swamped today, and last week too. So doing a lot of interviews over Skype, a lot of phoners, and then also just like print interviews. So just constantly doing like emailers as well.
Oh God, those emailers suck, don't they?
It's some of them are good, but then some of them are like you're answering like it's like, didn't you ask this question like 3 times? It's just like different kind of versions of the same question. Like I don't know. It's like a 20 question long interview, and I feel like I've answered the same thing like 4 or 5 times in the same interview.
Oh wow, man, you're good. I just write, please see answer to question.
Yeah, I know. I gotta start being.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's I don't know. There's something about those emailers. They just feel like a lot of fucking hard work.
Yeah, and it's like it's going out there to a print magazine, so you want to make sure that everything, you don't come up like a jackass and sound halfway intelligent. So it's been, they take up a lot of time.
Yeah, cool. So so if you've been on the you've been doing a lot of press. What are the most popular questions so far? So I can make sure I don't ask them.
Well, so far, process. Which unfortunately, in terms of that question, it's sort of like it's always sort of like the same. It's like it was kind of like the last 2 times we worked with it. Like nothing really like.
Yeah.
It's like now he records naked or something. Like it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's a bit of a blind alley, isn't it? Really, because it's like you're doing the third album with the same guy. It's like, well, presumably you're using him for the third time because you're hoping it'll be like the two previous times.
Right, yeah. It's like obviously he's gonna sort of bring he's gonna not make it sound exactly like every record. I mean, he's an artist in his own right, so he wants to kind of make each one sound unique, but as far as like his techniques and studios and stuff like that, it's all the same. So yeah, I can never really be super in depth with that question because it's sort of similar every time.
Yeah, it's weird how you end up with so many kind of similar questions from people.
I had one interview where like. It was like this dude, and he was like, I don't know why he was interviewing me, to be honest, but he had like all these questions that was like a Google search like could have pulled up. It was like, okay, who are you in the band? I'm like, I'm Dave. And he's like, and what do you do? I'm like, guitar and vocals. He's like, do you write songs for the band? Like, yes. It was like for like a local, I don't know, like project or something, but it was like it was pretty funny. There was just like no research done or like and then like his big sort of like trump card question was like, what are your influences? It's like, oh, I haven't heard that one before.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, I'm only like 10 years in. It's not like I've been asked that question 1,000 times before, but it's all good.
Well, not only that, but your influences are all over fucking Wikipedia.
Right. It's like it's pretty clear. I mean, but it wasn't even like what are your influences at the moment. It was just sort of like like in general, and it's all good. But it's funny. Sometimes you end up being interviewed by people that just don't really. I don't know. They just don't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's. It's kind of weird though as well when you get those interviews where it's all closed questions. It's like you said. So do you write songs? Yes. It's like, well, if you ask me a closed question, I'm just going to give you a. It's kind of tough from the point of view that if you're asked a lot of closed questions, if you just give one word answers, which is kind of the temptation, you do start coming across like a bit of an arsehole.
Oh yeah, for sure. I try to almost never do that. That guy was like a special case. Like he like.
Oh, he sounds like a special case, all right.
Yeah. Like he was also like from like lived in the same time. I'm like, no, we live in different time zones, and you live in like Central Time. Like I just kind of had to explain things, and so like already off the bat, it was like not just like a half-hour interview. It was like a 2-hour interview with like the waiting and rescheduling and back and forth.
Oh no.
It's all good though. It's the nature of the beast, and it's nice when people give you the time of day and like want to interview you. So even
okay, and we're back. Great. All right. Well, funnily enough, I have actually done a revocation interview when you guys were over here, which I think was November. Was it 2014? When you guys were over here?
Yeah, off the Deathless record.
Yeah, Halloween. It was Halloween. Yeah. Halloween in London.
Oh yeah, that was a great show.
Oh man, the queue outside looked like an audition for some sort of Tim Burton movie or something. It was insane. I
distinctly remember there was a guy dressed up like a giant cock and balls who was crowd surfing the whole time. That was pretty funny.
Actually, now you mention it,
that's you, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, I am just a cock. But no, I think I interviewed Brett, and would Ash have been filling in for you then?
Yes.
Yeah, because I think I interviewed them both, and of course, because Ash is really into his comedy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a card.
Yeah, because he was really kind of picking my brains on coming when I said like did stand up, and he was like, oh right, and he was like just chucking loads of quotes at me. He's like, who's this? But I distinctly remember Brett mentioning the guy who's dressed as a cock and balls.
Yeah, he stands out.
Yeah, that is the kind of thing that kind of lives with you, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. From an outsider looking in, it seemed like a little bit of a breakthrough record for you guys. Is that the case, or am I just dreaming that? Am I making that up?
No. I think that definitely is the, you know, working with a new team, and there's so much sort of energy behind that first release. So that was really, really good. And I think the material was really, really strong on Deathless. Up until that point, I think Deathless was all kind of collectively our favorite record that we've done to date. And now with the newest record, now this is sort of our new favorite that we've ever done. So we try to push ourselves with each release, because that's sort of the product that you're selling, right? Is the album. So you really want to pour your heart and soul into it, and hopefully it'll get you to that next level.
But that's the rule, isn't it? I mean, if your most recent record is not your favorite, then something's gone wrong.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, personally as well, I don't know, there just seemed to be something about that record that all of a sudden Revocation were in a lot of people's, were a lot of people's end of year lists, and people were talking about the record, but I mean, funnily enough, the song that got me was Deathless itself. Was that sort of Voivod-y hooky chorus?
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned Voivod, because that was definitely something that was sort of in our minds when we were writing that. Also, this band Vol, who I've been more and more influenced by. They're a great band from the U.S., and they have these awesome kind of, it's like a weird Voivod-y kind of influenced band.
Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of weird. The old the Vod's influence seems to be appearing more and more these days, and it's kind of weird. It's like I kind of feel like they're going to be one of those bands where bands they influence are going to go on to be sort of bigger than they were, like Diamond Head and Metallica kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, they've certainly been around for years. It wasn't like it was like sold out, but it was a lot of people there.
Yeah. No, they've been. I've had them on. I had them on here. Well, I had Chewy on here a few months ago, and
Dan Mongrain.
Yeah, he's a card, as you you would put it.
He is one of my favorite guitar players of all time.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I don't think there would be a Revocation without Dan Mongrain.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, because he was in Martyr. I'm actually looking at one of Martyr's guitar tab books right now. It's on my desk here. I was working on it not too long ago. Then he spent some time in Gorguts, which is also one of my favorite death metal bands of all time.
Yeah.
And now he's playing for Voivod, and definitely very much carrying the flag of their sound, and he was able to come in and I think write music that definitely fits with the aesthetic and would certainly make Piggy proud.
Yeah, absolutely. And the weird thing is, what you've just said there reminds me that you came up in my interview with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was like, we were talking about influences and things like that, and he said, like, yeah, there's this guy in one of the bands, and he was like, Revocation, and he was like, yeah, it was Dave from Revocation. He's always like crediting Martyr, because we were talking about Martyr.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, Dave's always crediting Martyr and stuff like that, and it's really, really cool, and I love his band and all that. So yeah, he's he was really grateful, actually, because I think obviously he's known for what he does in Voivod now, but as you said, Martyr were a formidable band.
Yeah, and that's I think one of the great things about the metal scene, or at least the underground metal scene, right? Not the stuff we get caught up in, like the mega bands and like the feuds and this and that. I mean, we're all really passionate musicians. And we all really care about the scene and finding new music and supporting bands. So yeah, it just makes me feel really good when I hear like he's giving me a shout out, and I can give him a shout out. So it's nice being in a community of like-minded musicians, that put the dedication to the craft first, rather than it seems like in pop music or in all these various different forms of other types of music, it's always like, what's the juicy story, or like who are they feuding with, or this or that. So there can be some unity here. I know it's not the most interesting thing, but it's like kind of our kumbaya moment.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's like we're all in this together, as it were. Yeah. I mean, we're all playing the same places. We all want to get on. We all want to get on this. On tours that do well, and I don't know. I just kind of feel like I don't know. Maybe the way the business has gone, as in the way the internet has affected the music industry and everything else. That it's kind of brought it's kind of leveled everything out. There seems to be slightly less competitiveness between bands, if that makes sense.
I would agree, but also disagree a little bit. Just in the sense that
go ahead.
There's just sort of such a critical mass of bands now, right? So I don't think there's a competitive sort of attitude from band to band, but just the very nature of the beast. I mean, there's so many bands out there now, so it makes the scene a bit more competitive in terms of just vying for attention, right?
Yeah.
So when bands do it for sort of what I would consider like the right reasons, right? Like you're inspired by music and you want to create something, and you have this spark inside you that you want to share with the world. That's amazing. That's what gives us these newer generations of bands like Vectors and stuff like that are pushing thrash metal genre, or all these brilliant bands that are out there. Morbus Chron. I think they broke up recently, but they put out a couple great records. Amazing death metal band from Europe with like kind of an old school aesthetic. But there's also so many people that just kind of get into it because they want to be like a part of like a scene. You know what I mean? Like it's like the cool thing to do.
Yeah.
So it's not really like pushing the genre in any way. It's just sort of like maintaining a status quo, and it's fine to be in a band and want to go out there, but I think sometimes people get like delusions of grandeur, like, oh, I want to be signed to a label or this or that, and then unfortunately sometimes the band that has sort of the most sort of dumbed down sound can sometimes rise to power or whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm. Funnily enough, when you were talking now, I was reminded it that does actually apply to the comedy circuit as well. It's very much kind of people. I think the point you're making is there's people who do it because, let's face it, we have to do it.
Right.
And there's people who choose to do it because because they're interested in all of the stuff that comes along with it. Right,
and it's so hard to pinpoint too, because there's the whole thing about sort of trying to be part of a scene or money, but in the end I think there's a certain quality of being on stage. It's very sort of cathartic and self-affirming, and it reminds me of a quote. I forget the author of this quote, but it basically reads the rewards of art are not money or fame, but intoxication. And that is why so many bad artists are unable to give it up. And of course, he wasn't talking about but that sort of intoxicating quality of, creating, whether it's a comedy routine or, like being on stage. Like there's something that comes along with it that's very, like I said, sort of self-affirming. So, and you might believe you're really creating something, earth-shattering and groundbreaking too, is the other thing, right? So it's sort of. It could be sort of all in your head, or it could be something that the general public also embraces. But it's just sort of something interesting, I guess, to think about.
Well, the thing is, I guess it's, as much fun as it is, like writing tunes and recording and all the rest of it, which is great. I mean, but ultimately playing live is that's where it's at, because that's where you get to share all of that hard work, and you end up being in a room with basically that for however long you're on, it's basically a band and a crowd all in unison there for the same reason, for the same purpose, and that's a special feeling.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, sharing music with other people. I mean, it's such a moving experience, and I guess that gets back to that sort of intoxicating quality of that, right? So that's why so many people, it's hard for them to give it up. And I would never, begrudge someone their desire for artistic expression or whatever, right? I mean, everyone obviously has a right to do that. But it is something that we joke about, in the future, there's going to be there'll be so many bands that you need a government issued license or something to perform, and you have to go in front of so if it's if you want to play thrash metal, it's all right, you got to go in front of Chuck Billy from Testament, Gary Holt.
Yeah.
And, so that's the panel, and you get one shot. You give them your best performance, and they either issue you a license or they put you on probation or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. That is. I can just imagine that happening. Chuck Billy would make a pretty awesome judge, actually. He's got
right. It'd be like a death metal version of American Idol or something or a thrash metal version of American Idol, but only the fate of your band hangs in the balance. It's all right, you.
So you've just got you basically you can carry on, you can do it, but you're just not allowed to share it with anyone.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, band only.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Or you could subject your close family and friends to it, I guess.
Ah, the close family and friends.
At some point in the in maybe October or something like that to hit Europe, and I'm sure the UK will be part of that as well. We can't announce just yet. We're still waiting on a couple of details, but if all goes well, we'll be hitting Europe and UK October, November timeframe.
Cool. Okay. Well, look. Let's try and hit London on Halloween, and I'll bring my cock and balls costume.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah.
I'll bring mine as well.
Excellent. And you can hear how that kind of came to a very abrupt end. So we were talking about the new album, and why the hell don't we play a track? This is Monolithic Ignorance.
Desperation, the sense we deem not enough.
And there you go. That is a track. It's Monolithic Ignorance from the album Great Is Our Sin. That's coming out in July, I believe. So it's a little bit of an early taster for you there, in case you hadn't already heard it. But it's pretty fucking rocking, and there is an awesome cover of Altar of Sacrifice by Slayer on the end there. And I say pretty awesome because it's covering Slayer is not an easy thing to do. But they do it, and they do it with aplomb, as I believe the word is. Fucking hate that word. Don't know why. Aplomb. Really? What is a plomb? Okay, so you've got this plomb, right? And then you've got a plomb. So what's the plural then? Plombs? Do you do something with plombs? Surely, if you're going to be good at something, it would be the plural. So you'd be, your plombs at that, not a plomb. Please tell me this is the kind of fucking shit that you tune in for, because I'm fucking losing the plot here. So what else? I'd say what else has been happening. I went to see Puscifer, which is Maynard from Tools. Side project. Went to see him at the Roundhouse, which was an awesome show. I must admit, I was prepared to be bored for a couple of hours, and instead I was just absolutely fascinated, thoroughly entertained. It was brilliant. It was, have a look at some of the footage on YouTube. It is bizarre because it is basically, and you'll only see footage from festivals actually. Which leads me nicely into why you won't see any from gigs. Basically, no photography and no video was allowed whatsoever. No use of the phones. So, this is strange. And they had screens, and on screen before the gig comes Major Douche. It's basically Maynard with a ginger wig dressed as a major. And basically going on about, people can't fucking read. If you can't read, you shouldn't be allowed to drive. So I can't fucking help you. You look at a sign, think it says it, yep, fuck you. And it was really funny. It was, I don't know if the clip is available anywhere. I'll post it online if it is, but it was genuinely funny. Believe me, I'm a comedian. I know what funny is. But I am the arbiter of taste in this podcast. But it was, and basically it was like, it kept going on about if you can't read, you're fucking stupid and you're allowed to do all these things. The whole point of that was to say, and if you can't read the signs that say don't use your phone, I can't fucking help you. Don't use the fucking phone. Don't use your phones, because if you're using your phone, you're not paying attention to the fucking show, and everyone around you is wondering what the fuck's going on. And it was fucking brilliant. And as he said this, the whole crowd started cheering. He introduced the gig, and you know what? Anybody who got their phone out, security started shining lights on them to put them away. But after a while, it just became self-policing. And people stopped, for once in their fucking lives, using their phones at a gig. And you know what? It was really fucking cool. It really was. It was great. Everybody just fucking got into it. I admit, I sneakily took a picture when I got there right at the beginning, and that was it. Clown who sat next to me took a few. I was sat next to him because I was in the first floor. I couldn't get tickets for down on the floor, so I was in the first floor. And if you've ever been in this situation, I had a fucking thigh drummer next to me. Okay? Do you know what I mean? Somebody who drums along on their thighs. Quite clearly not a drummer, but fucking hell. What a pain. What a colossal pain in the fucking arse he was. That reminds me, got to throw in a couple of new drummer jokes I heard, which were lovely. How do you make a drummer happy? Who cares? About the drummer who was really pissed off about drummer jokes, got sick of it, decided to kill himself, went down to the railway track and threw himself behind a train. And get it behind, yeah, anyway. But my own personal favourite, ISIS have taken 100 drummers hostage, and they say unless their demands are met, they're going to release one an hour. I love that one. But yeah, so anyway, I had Thigh Drummer next to me. A little bit of a tangent there, and he was annoying. He really was. But it was really cool. And Maynard pointed out halfway through, thanked everybody for coming, because it is an independent project, no label support, no sponsor or anything. I just thought it was just a fucking epic night of entertainment. About a 2.5 hour set. And it was fucking superb. I've never seen anything like it. It was really interesting to see something so different, and just trying to break the mold and doing it successfully. Awesome, kind of like the opposite of baby metal. So there you go. What else been happening? Oh yeah, Acid Rain. We headlined the second stage at the Uprising Festival, which was cool. That seems to be our slot at the moment, the headlining in the second stage. I'm cool with that, it's fine. Got to have a little catch up with Andy Sneap as well, because Hell were playing on the main stage, so it was cool to catch up with him and meet the guys in Hell. And they were, fuck me, that's a show. If you get a chance, go and see Hell. That is a fucking show, seriously. I haven't seen anything like that in years. Full on fucking pyros and costumes, and yeah, it was awesome. It really was awesome. Really fucking old school, and all the best bits of old school as well. And coming back round to Rage Against the Machine as well. Prophets of Rage, which is basically Rage Against the Machine, Chuck D from Public Enemy, and I do apologise, but for not knowing who the other guy is. From Cypress Hill, but yeah, they're touring and playing Rage tunes, and it sounds fucking great. Not got a clue about what's happened to Zach De La Roche. He seems to have, or as Americans say, Zach De La Roche. Obviously, they I don't think they have Ferrero Rocher over there, so that's an easy mistake to make. But yeah, I hope it makes it over to the UK, because it looks and sounds awesome. It really fucking does. And in other bits of metal news, something that might have passed you by, reactivated Swedish melodic metalers Narnia are back. Yeah, that's right. Swedish, let me just read that again. Swedish melodic metalers Narnia are back. So, anyone? You know where I'm going with this? Anyone got a fucking clue who that? Please do tweet, etc. Send me messages. Please explain to me who the fuck Narnia are. And also, Jesus Christ, what a shit name. You may as well just call yourself Turkish Delight or something. For fuck's sake. Aslan. Oh, sorry, that's been done. There is a metal band called Aslan. It fucking cracks me up when bands kind of take those names and, in an effort to meld it with metal imagery and all that. It's just fucking bollocks, isn't it, really? Fucking hell. So anyway, I'm babbling a bit. Let's get on with the next interview. Again, not particularly long. Now, I've done my best with this one. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best Skype signal. Nothing either of us could do about that. But hang in there. It drops out occasionally, but it shouldn't make a massive difference. So here is Fernanda from Nervosa. Hello.
Hello. How
Hi.
are you doing, Howard? Are you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Just enjoying the day off. Everything's pretty chill.
Yeah, you're on the road, aren't you?
Yeah. We've played, I guess, like 6 or 7 gigs so far. And we have this day off, and then it's gonna be like 15 shows, I guess, without no days off. So it's cool. It's cool.
Oh God! Look, look. Before we get into this, I'll give you an idea of what this is. The podcast is called Talking Bollocks. My name's Howard. I used to sing back in the day in the first wave of thrash. I used to sing in a UK thrash band called Acid Rain. And
Claudia told me about that. Our press representative, she told me about that. That's so cool.
Oh, right, cool. Well, basically, what happened was we split. I've been a stand-up comedian for 16, 17 years, and then last year I kind of rebooted the band. Back doing it as well. So hopefully this will just be
awesome. And I stand up. That's awesome. That's great. I've been talking to him before. It's so great because I love that.
Cool. Just don't expect me to be funny.
No problem. I won't. I know it's different stuff. It's like asking me to answer the interview singing, for example. I know it's the different stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when I kind of like if I meet people and friends say, oh, he's a comedian, and they're like, oh, tell us a joke, and it's like, fuck you, it's my night off.
Exactly. So, but that's cool. I don't know if Claudia mentioned to you, but we had actually 20 minutes of interview. Would that be fine for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it won't be enough. I'm sure we'll be chatting away, and time will disappear. But that's no problem. That's no problem. In fact, I think we were supposed to meet in London. You were doing a show at the Dev, I think, but it never happened. Do you know what happened there?
Yeah, we were supposed to play on the 8th there in London, but we had a problem with visas and everything, so we just couldn't make it. It sucks. But the good thing is that we will be back. We will play the Underworld in London with Destruction and Flotsam and Jetsam in September. I think September or October. So it should be fine. Yeah, well, I was really sorry we had to cancel that show, but there was really no way we could do that.
No, that's cool, man. It's not your fault. I mean, but yeah, coming over with my buddies from back in the day, Flotsam and Jetsam. We played with them. I played with them, and I had Michael on the show last year, and he was in touch saying, like, this tour's going to be great. So no doubt I'll see you at the London show then.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, cool. Have you? Forgive my ignorance. Have you played London before?
Yeah, we did last year. We played with Brujeria there.
Ah, oh wow, right, okay. So it was a full Brazilian thrash assault.
Yeah, almost. We played with Brujeria and Cryptopsy too, and it was in the Dome. I guess this was the name of the place, the Dome or something.
Yes, yeah. It's a little bit off the beaten track. It's a little bit kind of away from everything, but it's a cool place as long as you've got a big enough name, you can play there. It's good. People can be lazy in London.
Oh, okay.
But it's, like any major city, it's as soon as things are not on their doorstep, everybody starts complaining. But so how's the tour going so far?
Well, it's been great, like we've been playing some spots we hadn't played before, like for example Amsterdam, which was a pretty cool show, and there's still a lot of things I'm looking forward, but so far it's been just great. It's been kind of relaxed, actually. We had some days off in between, so it's really, really relaxed, but one's going to be tougher.
Yeah, so you've just eased into it, and now you've got 16 days of hell.
Yeah, it's going to be... Actually, until the tour ends, it's going to be 36 more shows.
36 more shows? Are you still there?
Yeah, it's going to be 36 more shows still here in Europe. Then we go straight to USA and Canada for 20-something more. It's going to be really tiring, but that, we like that. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard work and it's tiring, but ultimately that's what you get in a band to do, isn't it? Play all over Europe, play all over the States, play all over the world.
Exactly. It's a dream for us. We've always dreamed of that. So it's really cool. Able to kind of be doing that. It's really, really fulfilling.
Are you still in that place where suddenly, sometimes you kind of have to pinch yourself that this is really happening?
Totally. Totally. I get all emotional sometimes and stuff, but it still happens to me a lot because I don't know what happens with this band, but it keeps on surprising me. Like each new thing that happens and everything. It can be like small things, like, like for example, people saying that they enjoyed the new video or stuff like that, or being asked to play, like for example, that metal cruise, like the 70K and everything. Like everything of this makes me exactly pinch myself and be like, what, this is happening, this is really, really cool. So yeah, and I like that. I like that feeling very much because I like this surprise thing because I think this is a good thing. It keeps you, kind of push you forward to, to keep on doing, keep on hard, so better stuff can still keep on happening, and you can still have this great feeling of, kind of, oh my God, it's really happening. You see, like,
Yeah.
yeah, this happens a lot to me. I really sometimes have to pinch myself to believe.
Oh no, that's awesome. I mean, just wait until you see the really scary things. Like one thing that always does it for me is seeing comments on YouTube like, oh, this was the first thrash album I ever bought, or this album got me into metal, or first live band I ever saw. I tell you, wait until you see those kind of things. That will just freak you the fuck out.
Yeah, yeah, it must be really cool. Yeah, some stuff happened like this with us, but not on this great level. But when it happens, every time it happens, like someone say cool stuff, it's really re-energizing. Actually, to be honest, it's really for us. It's like a fuel. It's really, really, really cool.
Yeah, because I mean, you sound very much. Look, yeah, it was a long time ago, but I still remember what it was like. And we were, why were we in a band? Because we all loved thrash metal. We wanted to play thrash metal, so we formed a band to play thrash metal. And I went to see Nuclear Assault in Sheffield, and then I think about 14 months later we were on tour with them. So I know exactly how you feel. It's I don't know, unless you've been through it, it's very hard to describe.
Yeah, really hard to describe, but it's a feeling. uh, It's really.
You there? Hello.
Hey, hey.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
you just cut out a bit there.
Oh yeah, yeah. The connection comes and goes. I'm sorry.
No problem. Don't worry. Again, not your fault. So
Mhm.
anyway, look, you're hitting the road. I mean, one thing I did want to ask is that um, there has, I mean, in mainstream metal, there seems to be this big female fronted thing, and there seems to be a kind of a big debate. And yet with your band and being a thrash band, it just the fact that you're women doesn't really seem to have kind of made any difference. It doesn't seem to be a talking point. Is that the case, or am I full of shit?
No, no. It actually, it was, there was a buzz on the beginning because know about it because it's still something new. Like we now have like lots of women in metal, but still numerically compared to like all male bands and everything, it's just a few girls, playing.
Yeah,
But especially when it's like extreme metal, like death metal and thrash metal. So I think in the beginning there was more buzz about it because it was still something new. It still is kind of like you don't see many all girl bands playing thrash or death metal around. So it's still something that kind of draws attention, kind of makes people make people curious and everything.
yeah,
But yeah, but in Europe and in the US, it has always been cool about that. People actually, I feel on these places, people don't actually like to label. They don't feel really comfortable on labeling the band like this, like all female. But in Latin America, it was kind of harder because it can be some countries in Latin America can be really sexist. So it was something new. Lots of people, lots no, but a couple of people saying shit that thing. Oh, these girls only get shows because they fuck promoters. So in Latin America, it was a big deal being all female thrash metal band. But outside of here, it has always been cool. Okay, kind of normal. It's just girls playing. That's it. They are metalheads just like anyone else. But yeah, but more in the beginning of the band. Now it's super cool.
No, that's great. I mean, have you got any bands kind of following in your footsteps back in Brazil? Have any other female thrash bands that have kind of followed your lead?
Oh yeah. Not only after us, but before us too. There was also like girls playing not only in Brazil but in South America. South America has a very solid, like metal scene with girls. Girls are everywhere here in the show. It's always like 50-50, and the lot of girls playing all girl bands and everything. So before us, there was already Valhalla, which is an all-female death metal trio.
Yeah.
There was also Scata, which was the all-female thrash metal trio, thrash metal band from Rio de Janeiro. And after us, some other bands started doing it, like, for example, Sinaya from São Paulo and Vocifera from the northeast of Brazil, from Recife. And there's many bands, and some of these bands actually we not inspire, but kind of help them, like in some way on what to do, on what not to do. And this is pretty cool. I feel great about that because they're all like our friends. We love them so much. And I've always been a huge supporter of women in music and art and everything. So yeah, I feel kind of great to hear this. It's great. We have a kind of a role, not only playing, but, kind of helping other girls out, coming out and play their instruments and do their stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool, and it happens. It happens not only in Brazil but also in other countries in South America.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that you whether it's the case or not, you get girls coming up to you at shows and saying, look, hey, we've started a band as well, and I mean, it's not just consigned to South America. You're kind of you've broken out of South America, and I mean, you're on a European label, and you record an album in the States. These are all boundaries that you're breaking. Were you conscious of that at the time, or is it like like it isn't a band? You're just in your own world, and you do stuff, and then people tell you that you're the first to do it, and you're like, oh really? Oh, didn't realize that.
Yeah. But this happens a lot. Their feeling is true, because I've always been like a huge supporter of girls in metal. So when I listen and watch it live, like bands like Girl School and Doro Fashion Warlock and some other ones like Ice Age and Rock Goddess and everything.
Yeah.
So when I watch them and listen to them, I always felt inspired by them. Like, dude, especially the Girl School, like they can really rock, they kick ass. I really would like to be them one day. So when I listen to this from a fan, like from girls saying that they have a band and we inspire them or stuff like that, or girls that were like, I've been always disencouraged by everyone by playing in this room, but now I saw you guys and I want to go there and do it too. But when I listen to stuff like that, I know how genuine it is because I've been there too, and it's pretty cool. This is the kind of situation I get all emotional when it happens.
Yeah, I could see. I could see that coming. Yeah, it is, because it's like when that situation happens, when something happens to you where you've been the other person, it's kind of like it kind of reinforces to you where you're at now.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
And that's really cool. That's really, really cool. So yeah, when do you you do the European tour? You're in the States. Are you touring back in Brazil?
Oh yeah. So after the US and Canada, we'll have a break, like 1.5 week break in Brazil. Then we'll be back in Europe for this Destruction, Flotsam and Jetsam Enforcer tour. Then by the end of October and a little bit of November, we'll be touring like Russia and the Baltic states, I think.
Wow.
And right after that, we'll do a couple of gigs in Brazil, yeah. And maybe next year we'll do more gigs there. You know, it's because the situation is kind of hard in Brazil right now. We've been having a lot of political issues and the economy is going down and down. So not a lot of people are promoting gigs and everything. So, but we'll do our best. We love playing in Brazil. We love playing South America. We want to spread this album all over. So,
of course.
Something will happen, but probably next year. This year is kind of cool.
Yeah, you've had some really crazy shit going on with your president and stuff over there, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been, like she was elected democratically, and then she did she was a bad governor, actually. Like she was just a bad governor, and the guys, the opposition was trying to take her out of there by so they created this impeachment thing.
Yeah.
And so people think it's illegal. It's actually kind of illegal because, like she didn't commit any crime. She was just a real bad governor, but it's kind of illegal. It's still, the whole process is still being, it's on trial and everything. So, but right now the country's kind of numb. While we wait for this whole thing to be solved. So it's kind of numb, and especially economically, economics right there, it's just terrible.
And it's really weird because this is all happening in between having had the World Cup and then the Olympics, and it's kind of like sandwiched in between. Is this really traumatic time for you all?
Yeah, but you know what? This is a great sign, not only for Brazilians, but for the whole world, that this World Cup and Olympics in Brazil is a great bullshit.
Yeah.
Of course, we Brazilians are very warm and welcoming. We love to have people from other countries in our country. We love partying and everything. So we ended up having a good time in the World Cup. It's going to be okay on the Olympics too. But deep down, we all have this feeling that we have so many urgent, basic needs and issues that solved, that should have the attention of the government, health issues. But instead of that, what do focus all their attention and money for this stuff? It's just not right. And I think this whole mess that's going on right now is a good way to show the world that it's not right.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that because it's. It's great to have two sort of international tournaments like that, but as you said, the infrastructure of the country is falling apart, and your economy is tanking. It doesn't really make sense to have these two sort of massive international parties. Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense at all. You're right.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. So everybody, obviously everybody identifies with Sepultura coming from Brazil and being, the big kind of door openers. And I guess that makes you kind of like the female version of Sepultura.
Yay, that's awesome to hear. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. I had Igor on the podcast last year, and I mentioned to him, I said to him, "Oh right, I used to be in this band called Acid Rain," and he was like, "Yeah, I remember you guys," and I just nearly fell off my sofa. I was like, "What?" I couldn't believe it. But obviously, you want to go back and tour Brazil, and you mentioned the Baltic states and Russia. What are they like to play for a female band?
What is what? I'm sorry.
All right, when you play kind of like the Baltic states and Russia, do you notice any difference to the way the way you're treated? What's it like to play? Is it slightly different?
Yeah, it was most dates were actually surprisingly good. Like the gig we did in Estonia and Tallinn was just great, a lot of energy, and in Latvia too, it was great when we played there. So we were really happy to be back there. And so I didn't feel like much difference, from the rest of the crowds in Europe. To be honest, it was really cool. And as for in Russia, they are a little bit more intense.
Yeah.
They have like that rough love. So they were really intense. Like they would kiss our hands and stuff like that, and they would be crazy. And they were actually people in Russia were actually one of the best crowds we had. Like they really know how to like to be awesome during a thrash metal gig. But they the cool thing about us is because when we started the band, I was kind of worried like how it would be this respect and this limit, this border, like people would respect that, and it ends up that everyone respects us really very much. Like in Russia, Baltic states, it was normal. Like everyone respected us, and it's like this, like wherever you go, the maximum we can get is like that kind of platonic love. Like for example, guys asking, "Oh, could you please give me a hug?" or something like that, but nothing further than that. It's just super cool. Guys are really respectful, and there's actually no difference, like where you play. It's just the same audience. It's great, yeah.
Well, that's really cool. I mean, yeah, I don't think there's many thrash bands out there that get asked by their fans to hug them. So that is definitely something that you've got to yourselves.
Exactly.
That's cool. Well, look, Fernando, it's been really good. It's been really good chatting with you. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy schedule. And look, I'll see you in London.
Yeah, so thank you so much for the opportunity. I have to say thank you for the opportunity, of being talking about the music and for the support. Thank you so much. And yeah, see you in London. We're gonna have a great time. And you're pals with the Flotsam and Jetsam guys, so party shall be hard.
Lots of partying, but no hugs. Okay, no hugs.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much.
No problem. Have a good show.
You have a nice night. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye. So as you can hear, we got on very well. Wasn't that refreshing? But I will talk about that more in a bit. Let's hear a track from that new album, Agony. This is Hostages. So, you're welcome. None too shabby, eh? I must admit, I've heard a bit of Nervosa over the years. I've only just got the album today, so but I am going to be getting stuck into it. But I have heard I've heard this stuff before and been impressed. But this new album I've given it one spin, and it's it's a big step forward. So there you go, right? That's Otep Shamaya and Nervosa so far this year, halfway through the year. Women being represented, yo. So yeah, thanks for all of your all of those people out there who just assumed I was a sexist because I wasn't, because I was always saying that I can't really find any women in metal that are doing it for me. Well, certainly Otep, and certainly with this new album, Nervosa, doing exactly that. So, and moving on to awesome metal. But actually, no, I did say I was going to speak to you a little bit more about the interview. I really, really enjoyed. I don't know. I really, really enjoyed getting that. I don't know, that interview done, because she was just so enthusiastic. I mean, I'm sure you could hear it, the enthusiasm in the voice, the passion. It's still kind of new. It's still kind of new territory to them. It's great to be speaking to a band who are still at that real early stage where they just, as she said, they keep just having new little what is it? Kind of like victories and just these little bits, and getting further up bills and playing these festivals here and there, and I just think I think it's really, really cool, and I really, really enjoyed doing that interview, and I really do hope to catch up with them when Flots come over. Because that's going to be an awesome tour, but I am going to be there, and I really enjoyed doing that, and I hope it was an enjoyable and not too painful a listen with the technical difficulties. He says, fucking up the word difficulties just to prove how fucking difficult the difficulties are. So, what else has been going on? The Exodus, Prong and Obituary tour. How's that? I mean, I've said it completely the wrong way around. It's supposed to be Obituary, Exodus, Prong. What a fucking tour that is. Get tickets now. That's going to be fucking brilliant. That'd be, actually, what would be really cool is if I can get Steve and Tommy in an interview together. Although Tommy probably wouldn't get a word in edgeways between me and Steve, but I'll see if I can do so. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Actually, to try and do some sort of mash-up interviews, getting different people on and just having kind of a group argument, because it's going to end up being that, isn't it? Let's face it. But no, that'd be really fucking cool. I will try and make something like that happen. Other awesome cool shit happening. New Descendants album, July 29th. Cannot fucking wait. Oh yes, I've done my pre-order. Of fucking CDs, vinyl, shirts, the lot. I'm just absolutely, I'm wearing a Descendants shirt on the back of Acid Rain's first album that came out in 1988. So yes, and I have still got that t-shirt, funnily enough, because I'm a cheap bastard. No, I just don't throw really cool shit away. And yeah, I'm totally cannot fucking wait for it. Can't pronounce what it's called at all, but go check it out. Just Google and find it, get it. It sounds awesome. Actually, this is one thing to remember. The American site has a SoundCloud widget there, and you can play a song off the new album. For some reason, the UK one doesn't, so you can listen to an American site there. And if I remember, I'll post that as well. If I forget, and any of you want to hear a clip and can't find it, just tweet me or email. Oh god, we haven't done email for a while, have we? Howard@allabouttherock.co.uk. And while we're about it, let's thank everybody at All About the Rock. That is John Doe. Thank you very much for heads up on a few interviews that didn't happen, but that's all good. And also, of course, the legend that is Craig. He's still working away in the background, keeping All About the Rock, keeping it going as a going concern. So all fucking respect due to Craig, and so please do go to allabouttherock.co.uk, get down there, check it out, support the website. Now I've got one last kind of thing that I wanted to mention before I wind the podcast up. It's a slightly shorter one this month because. Quite simply put, 2 shorter interviews. But you've also had 2 fucking songs. So stop your fucking moaning right there. Okay? Stop that particular conversational truck in its tracks. It's not happening. Anyway, finally, my final sort of thoughts on artists playing for free. Okay? I have had... Actually, do you know what? I wasn't going to do this, but I am going to... I really genuinely wasn't going to do this, but fuck it. I'm going to read out an offer that was received by Acid Rain. And I'm going to read this out, okay? And, here we go. So, good evening. I'm contacting you regarding having you play at our brand new one-day festival, Shuckfest, on the 19th of June. This was sent on the 6th of June. Okay? So, usually festivals book you a minimum 6 months in advance. So, alarm bells are ringing already 13 days prior to Shuckfest. We understand that it's short notice, but we'd love for you and your band to perform at the event. They keep going on about Shuckfest and really should have probably fucking Googled the fact that Shuckfest is actually you shuck oysters and Shuckfest is fucking everywhere, but it's all to do with oysters. Shuckfest is a brand new festival in Suffolk that is packed full of everything from metal to rock. So that's not really everything, is it? From metal to rock. So basically you mean metal and rock. There'll also be various stores with alternative clothing and circus performers. Good for them. All bands are welcome to request a merchandise stall. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, you're going to let us sell merch? For fuck's sake. Unfortunately, we cannot offer any payment. Hang on. You're not guaranteeing a merchandise stall, and we cannot offer any payment at this time due to this being our opening event. Yes, that's right. Like any great opening event, you just get everybody to do it for fucking nothing. No. Uprising that we played in Leicester, that was the first ever Uprising festival. But you know what? They fucking paid us. Due to it being an opening event, we'd love to offer yourself and your band some free drinks and a rider to thank you for your performance. Brilliant. So we're all going to get pissed and then what? Drive the truck home? Hopefully this will be an ongoing festival and we'd like to invite you back in the future if you choose to play, and then we will be able to offer payment. Oh really? Will you? The festival will take place at the Pump and Grind in Ipswich, which I've since seen is basically a fucking cafe. We'd love to offer you a 20-minute set with a sound check previous to kick-off. We would appreciate if you got back to us as soon as possible so we can confirm your place within Shuckfest. Now, to be fair, well, actually not to be fair, this is what happens when you send out a blanket fucking mail and don't do your research. They were asking us to do a 20-minute set in a cafe for no money. Now, I could have played, and I've been told this by other people since, I could have played the do you know who you've messaged kind of card, do you know who we are? But that never really kind of springs into my mind. But I did feel like saying, well, actually, this is what I did say. You want to start a festival and your budget, you want to start a music festival and your budget for bands to play this music festival is nothing. No thanks. Good luck. So their response: it's strange you say that some of our bands on our lineup have played. It's strange you say that some of our bands on our lineup have played Download, Bloodstock, etc. And we have an immense amount of interest in the entire festival so far. Luckily, some of the bands are still about the music and are happy to contribute to another growing festival. Everything starts as a seed. Thanks for the good luck. Well, let me just look at that for shall I? Certainly, some of the bands have played Download and Bloodstock. Great. So have Iron Maiden. So have Rammstein. Acid Rain are playing Bloodstock. There's different levels of playing those festivals, okay? And also, some bands are still about the music. Yeah, but you still need to cover your fucking expenses. You can be about the music, yeah, but unfortunately, being about the music doesn't pay the fucking bills. You know, and everything starts as a seed. Yes, they do. And I think you'll find that if you plant a seed, but don't water it and don't give it any manure, it'll fucking die. So in other words, you need to, someone somewhere needs to have their expenses covered at least. Okay? So, you know, I kind of wrote back. Well, I'm glad you're able to attract some of these bands. I'm glad you'll have no problem putting a strong bill together with all of these bands. This band, in its long career, has never played a show for free. Given that, because of how we're set up, we're all over the country. Our overheads per show are easily £400. Your implication that we are somehow not about the music is hilarious. There's no money in music in the current climate. So, what are you in it for? Yes. That's right, music, but we ain't losing money to do it. So once again, we wish you loads of luck, tons of it. So here comes a response. I don't appreciate a rude and blunt reply to an offer to play a festival or event, and neither would a lot of people. We have a few very established bands willing to play. I've since seen the bill, never heard of one of their bands, and no headliner announced a week prior. Okay. I'm sure we have, we have very few established bands willing to play. I'm sure they have higher costs and overheads and are travelling 4 hours for very little money. Great. Just because you can get them to do it, don't make it right. Once again, appreciate the luck. We are very much looking forward to the next Shuckfest being held within the Hollywells Park with a huge headliner. All the best, Acid Rain, spelled R-A-I-N. Brilliant. So, I wrote Simone back. Rude, asked you a quick question. We are over the moon for you. We hope this is the biggest festival ever in Hollywells Park. And great luck with your huge headliner. They must be doing well to be playing for free. At this point, I didn't realise that they didn't even have a headliner, and she's actually talking about a fictional festival that might happen in a few years. In fact, I wish all the bands luck. And you, the organisers. You may need to toughen up a bit, though. Rude? Blunt, maybe. But no more blunt or rude than asking people to travel for miles for no money. That's blunt. One could even say rude. It's all about perception. All the best, Simon. Hope you have a great festival. Great. Well, once again, definitely tough enough, and have faith in those who give back to those who are just starting up. It'll be a great one. Good to hear it. Yes, giving bit. So anyway, the point I'm making is, fuck off! That's the point I'm making. Fuck you! Right, you're trying to create a festival. A festival is a business. A business model is not expecting people to fucking work for free so you can build a business. Right? I cannot get on board with people who say, oh, it's, we're trying to build something. Well, yes, you try and build something with foundations. You can't build a house just on soil. You have to have foundations. And if you want people to help you out, you have to offer at least to cover their fucking costs. And no, we wouldn't have done it for the fucking costs. No, we would expect to get paid. You know why? Because we're a fucking band that you want to have on your bill to draw people. You want to put our logo on your posters to get people to buy tickets to come in and then give us nothing. So our name is good enough to bring people through the door, but not good enough to be paid for. Fuck you! I'm fucking sick and fucking tired of getting offers for the band, and frankly, it also happens in comedy as well, but not as badly as it does in music. But I'm sick and fucking tired of people who think that fucking cider and crisps is suitable payment to working your fucking arse off and doing a show. It fucking isn't. And look at the costs. The costs are hiring a truck, getting a driver, crew, fuel, getting the band together. That's train fares from four corners of the fucking UK. But oh no, the minute you fucking write back and say, well, actually, no, we're not willing to pay for free. Oh, now I'm the cunt. Hey, I'm not the one expecting people to work for free. Slave labour. Oh, fucking hell. And this one, to be fair, a fair few of them are charity ones, and I've made my fucking point clear before. A charity show is no different to any other show. You put it on, you pay people, and the profit you make goes to charity. That's how charity shows are done. It isn't done by fucking ripping everybody off. Okay? You look at these things, the fucking bar staff are getting paid and the artists aren't. Fuck you. Fuck you and your fucking business model, which isn't a business model. It's a fucking slavery model. Absolute bullshit. I know I'm going over the top calling it slavery, and fair enough. But it just winds me up. People constantly offering bands shit fucking gigs for no money. It's just absolutely ridiculous. It really is. The excuse that it's only the first time we've done this. Well, fucking, there's a guy called Simon Yarwood who put on the Uprising Festival, and he got Phil Campbell's all-star rock band there. He got us there. He got Hell there. He got a really strong bill. He booked out a fucking proper fucking venue, Leicester de Montfort Hall. It's a proper fucking venue, right? All of us got paid. He had stalls there as well. And you know what? It was a fucking great success. And people flocked there. That's how you do it. What can I say? That was his first attempt at that event, and it was a fucking success because we've got decent bands on. He paid us all properly. It was a great event. I really am fucking sick and tired of people fucking, and for somehow, right? Our payment, the way these things work, we'd really, really love to have you play. Great. There's a price for that. Simple as that. There's a fucking price for it. Honestly, when did music become so fucking worthless? When did people start resenting paying artists to do their thing? It doesn't make fucking sense. It really doesn't. So hopefully, this will have cleared up my stance on that. Look, don't get me wrong. More than happy to do a charity show. We will give a 25% charity discount off our normal fee to play any charity show. But if you're expecting us to rock up for nothing, you're in for a fucking surprise. Sorry, not happening. Okay? And this, it's for a really good cause bullshit. Name a charity that isn't. For fuck's sake. Honestly, like I said, no different to any other event. You put the event on, you make a profit, you give the profit to charity. You're not going to be paying tax because it's for charity. That's how charity shows work. Jesus Christ. Instead of this ridiculous attitude of just fucking hand-to-mouthing the whole thing and making peanuts for your charity, why not actually invest in it and put some fucking proper bills together? Anyway, Christ, rant over. As always, it's a pleasure, an absolute pleasure to be in your ears. I'm sorry, I realise that went on and on and on, but it's been really gripping my shit. It really has. So, look, I just wanted to say, really do appreciate all of you guys listening. All you concert promoters who don't pay bands, fuck you. But seriously, it is an honour, a privilege, one that I continue to be amazed by. I love doing this podcast as I do a lot of shit in my life. I'm quite a busy guy. I am spread thinly across a lot of projects, but the podcast is a bit special. It's a bit sacred, and I really do. I love doing these things. I really do. So thank you very much if you're still listening. I realised I went on and on there, but I had to get that off my chest, and this is a vehicle for me to get stuff off my chest. Let's face it, it is a vehicle for me to just jabber on and let my ego run rampant. And, as I've always said, if you don't like it, get your own podcast. But in all seriousness, thank you very much to all of you for listening, to all of you bollockers. And as I've always said, please spread the word. Get Talking Bollocks out there. Subscribe your friends with podcast app. Do whatever it is that you can do to support the podcast. I really appreciate that. If you could, it would be fucking awesome. I have got one journalist interview done, so I think there's going to be some either a writer's special or one of the upcoming editions will be just writers. It's going to be pretty darn cool. Okay, so thanks for listening. As always, I'll try and post some clips of what I've been talking about here, and as always, you can tweet us at Talking Bollocks with a Z on the end instead of an S. There's a really cool Talking Bollocks Twitter community, so join in. Also on Facebook, and it'd be really good to hear from you guys. And Howard at allabouttherock.co.uk if you really want to tell me where to go. So, a pleasure, always a pleasure, never a chore. Thank you very much for listening. And that's it. Not going out with a song because we've had two. So this is a little bit of a different kind of... a bit of a sniff there. I do apologise. This is a little bit of a different kind of format for this month. I like to mix it up. I like to keep you on your toes. That's the way this goes. Always, just wanting to keep you moving, keep you on your toes. That's fine. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Everything will be back to normal soon, and this will just be, one of those weird episodes where you weren't quite sure what to make of it. But anyway, all the best. Thanks for listening. This is it. We're off. See you next month. Goodbye. Really? It's finished. Should probably go. Yeah, really. You go first. All right? You go, then I'll go. Well, go on then. Go. Look, it just go. Go on. Switch it off. No, don't look at your app and see how long's left. No, don't see how long this goes on for. There's gibberish at the end. Go, go on. Switch it off. Delete the fucker. Yeah, that's if you've downloaded it, of course. I mean, Jesus, if you're streaming this, what are you fucking doing? It's costing you a fortune in data. Download them. On Wi-Fi, idiot. Honestly. Yeah, no, you first. I'm not going. You first. I've got all fucking day. I have as well. I haven't got all day. I have got all day. So I can wait you out. Fucking wait you out. I can. My podcast, my rules. I could do this all day. Absolutely. Right. You asked for it. Here we go. Yeah. Cough. Fucking heavy metal warrior, me. Got a fucking really bad cold. Really bad. Been in bed for 2 days. Sweating like a bastard. But still, put myself out here for you guys. Because I love you. Every single one of you. Now, go. Go on. Go on. Off with you. Go about your day. Whatever you got to do. Oh, by the way, don't forget milk.